Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJ Live.
Always on Thursdays, always trying to be here on time, per usual, and we got to make sure that we take care of you and our community as well as we continue to break down everything that we do here in our VRChat DJ community. And of course, with it being a live show, we want to welcome you in. So welcome on in to VRCDJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and if you are brand new to the show, we cover all sorts of different talks and topics here on the program concerning our community and the people and the DJs that we love, and even talk with the DJs that we love, including our guest today, as well as all sorts of people within our community, DJs, VJs, community members, club owners, security, you name it, promotions people, graphic designers. I mean, those are all key components to our program and everything that we do in here. So welcome on in. Of course, if you know anybody that would love to be a part of our program, we have all of the submission forms down in the About section. And for those that are watching on YouTube later on that don't usually get to join us for our live sessions, we do have them down in the bio for you to check out. So make sure you tell your DJs, make sure you tell your community members. And even if you're interested that you want to come on and talk about being like, I love VRChat. Oh my gosh. I love the rave community. Oh my gosh. You know, like, we would love to have you on so we can kind of represent that and continue our quest to make professionals out of everybody in here. And speaking of professionals, listen, I can't even begin to start talking about our guest on today's show today. An absolute legend within mid-tempo, hard techno, neurofunk, open format always tends to be a very fun thing with him. Has literally played for all sorts of clubs in VR, Rizumu, DDVR, Shelter, Loner, Tube, Concrete, Sanctum, the list goes on, and is also going to be featured very soon on Midori Radio, which in itself has been popping off pretty much. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live studios, moethelawn.
Yo, how's everybody?
Been very busy for you today, huh?
Yeah, work's been keeping me busy, other things keeping me busy. So, yeah, a lot going on, but we're all good.
I honestly feel like it's kind of the same thing when it comes to like the holidays too. I really hate to kind of bring it up just because, like, well, it's going to happen, you know, like this week we're hustling at work, at school, whatever. This weekend might just be popping. I didn't get a chance to take a look at the timeline, but it's bound to be, if not, you know, celebrating into the holiday season too, Christmas and Hanukkah and stuff like that. But next week, what is next week shaping up for you for Thanksgiving?
Honestly, for Thanksgiving, well, just a couple parties just coming up here, like Midori's thing, and then what do I want to say, the Cannerin's event, the 6-year the underground party. And other than that, like, honestly, just going up to see family around Thanksgiving. So usually around holidays, I just see family, friends, and just take it easy for the most part.
Listen, I don't want to jump the gun, and I know this is early on in VRC DJ Live. Of course, everybody in chat, welcome on in. If you want to ask your favorite questions, feel free to do so. What are your top? Listen, I want to be as bold as top 5 Thanksgiving like meal options for you, or like sides, main course, maybe throw in a dessert. What is Mo's top 5?
Gosh, let's see. My family makes this like pasta salad. So it's super good. I can't give the recipe. I actually know the recipe. I've actually made this, but really good. Has like, I don't know, noodles, cheese, and other stuff in there. I'll just leave it at that. But that's my favorite. Pumpkin pie, of course, is my favorite pie. Let's see. Of course, turkey. My uncle makes this like really good mashed potatoes. Yeah, really good. Ham.
And I feel like I'm putting you on the
A few
spot here,
things.
but I mean, at the same
Yeah,
time,
you're
you're
good.
literally going to eat everything during Thanksgiving. And to be honest with you, dude,
Exactly.
just sitting here and like waiting for all the suspense of what you're going to say is just making me like my mouth water just thinking a little bit about what's going on. But super excited to know about Thanksgiving, though. I mean, obviously, everybody should be taking some time to relax and taking a break from all the VR chat stuff. During the show today, we're going to be talking a lot about your involvement within VR chat, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and I think a lot of people recognize that, and I would assume you recognize that too. But what got me so like not flustered, but every so often we have a guest on the show, and we always kind of gauge to see what kind of like social media interaction that they're gonna get, or if they're gonna like tell people that they're gonna be on the show and stuff like that. Which people have known that you were gonna be on this program for about a month now. But just you alone spreading that information, it just seems like you're just overly famous within the scene alone. Like I feel like everyone would know Mow the Lawn, or even more so buy tickets to go see Mow the Lawn. So break it down. Like where do you see your famous in this game?
I don't know. That's just really weird to think about, to be honest with you, because I think the biggest thing is just, I'm kind of just involved in the community. I help out the community the best I can. That's really just how I started. And, I started helping my friend Obsec. He was like learning how to DJ, and I just really wanted to help him out. And, I was like, you know what? How about you just focus on DJing and I'll just help host the world and basically take care of everything else that's going on. So you didn't have to worry about it. And then, I start to, what is it? Like Resumu was looking for hosts, and then I started helping out with them, and I started helping all of these other clubs. And then basically, as I was hosting people, I was getting to know like all these DJs, all these artists. And, the more I got to know and the more I got to see, these people play, it was just like, oh, that's just really super interesting. So, I really wanted to get into it. And yeah, it's just like between hosting a bunch of people, DJing, and then just getting to know everyone and then like be a part of it. And, it's not even just like, say the North American clubs, but it's also getting to know people European and Japan, Australia, LATAM, and just working with them, booking them, playing with them. It's just, I just got to know a lot of people in that regard. And then, talking to, or what do I say? Then you have like some of the XR projects that I was working on, and got to know people through there, and then try to do some IRL events there. And then as COVID was letting up as well, actually getting to know my local scene and talking to the DJs there, the artists, the promoters, the venue owners, and it's really, I guess, networking for the most part, just talking to a bunch of people, just hanging out with them and just having fun, and just don't be a jerk,
Yeah, and it seems like this space too is really difficult from time to time because of the fact that we can't really control what everybody's intentions are in here, especially too, like we don't even know where they've begun or how they've wanted to start their journey to begin with. I've known so many people in VR chat since like 2017, 2018 that have been wanting to be a part of something much larger. And as those years have kind of gone by and you have a lot of people that are looking to do like memes or content creation, it's not even just an avenue to kind of go down, but it's kind of an area for you to kind of give it a shot and, be able to try all these fun things to do. And when it comes to our community since like 2020, and I know, listen, I would hate to rule out the fact that we're all going to be dating ourselves very, very soon in the next year, for the fact that this community has literally been doing stuff for 6 years, despite the fact of what you have been doing in the past 6 years, is so interesting because everybody's paths are a little bit different. We're going to be diving into a lot about that tonight. But I think what everybody is mostly feeding into and what are so interested in the fact is just like, you seem like a really easygoing guy. You love to come in here and have a really good time. You're very passionate about being a part of a lot of different projects. I think you have your passions feed into other people's passions, and you just want the best for everybody, and that's super, super awesome. Not everybody operates like you do, but at the same time, like there's that also that sense of like, I don't want to say that you're just an overall nice guy and nice guys get taken advantage of. That's not it, but it's just a matter of like, you get lots of opportunities because of your skills. You get a lot of opportunities based on how easygoing that you can be. And at the same time, you'll probably have a lot of new people in here that are just like, well, I'm a nice guy. How come I don't get all these opportunities? Or, or in the case of, which I'm going to ask you very soon is, I don't even want to call it this, but it's like an achievement list. It's not anything that we need to go down this rabbit hole of, but I feel like some DJs, when they come in here, if there were to be any sort of VR chat achievements, like as if it were a video game, I feel like some of these venues kind of operate, kind of like that too, of kind of like getting a Pokemon gym badge, or being like, oh great, I just performed here, now I could check that off my list of just all the different achievements that you have done. But kind of in your eyes too, like obviously, I mean, I'm not going to be diving into your day-to-day, what you do for a career, but like, I think the amount of time that you have been operating in here, it has been a little bit of a career of being able to perform at some of these venues. So talk to us a little bit about those kinds of achievements, some of those venues that you've been able to perform in here.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess I've done a lot since I started DJing. What is it? I first got my start with Resumu. And that was like Resumu Launchpad, which at the time Mojo was running that. And, I love Mojo. Mojo did such a great work with Launchpad. And, there's times I was trying to help him like host, but he was like doing all the work there at the time. And, speaking of like getting to know a bunch of people, like it was just, especially compared to like how the community is now versus what it was before. I mean, there were a lot less clubs out there. Now it's kind of goofy for me to say that because there's technically a lot of them yet, but I would argue that it was probably a little bit more closer knit at the time than what it is now. And then there's nothing wrong with that. But, I got to see, a bunch of people just show up, between what was like maybe Zenith at the time, / like some Diesel Works people. Muzz was there and that was cool. Just various DDVR, a bunch of different clubs at the time. And, it was just really inspiring and motivating. And, from there, it was just more of like just kind of being with friends and just, I think it was like Chris DM's birthday and I was like playing for him and I just kept playing and playing. And I'll be honest, like I looked back at my Resumu Launchpad set, probably not the smoothest transitions and not like, my music tastes, I think were kind of almost the same for the most part. I shouldn't say the same, it has evolved, but like, there's definitely some things like, oh, I could have done this better or whatever. But I mean, I was just starting out. Basically I kept playing, and the more I played, the more I just basically learned as I go, keep trying out different things, keep checking out different music. And then, I was lucky enough, and I would argue, it was probably a little bit better or easier because it was like a collaboration at the time. But apparently I was, I guess I was good enough to play for Shelter like 3 months later when I started, which is like still wild.
Yeah, that might have been a different time now compared to now, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there was still very talented people in Shelter. I mean, I feel like there always has been. But like, yeah, I was just honored to be a part of that and got so much like good feedback from that. And that was really awesome. Matter of fact, like even like that instance kind of broke and At the time there was like weird VRChat server issues, and so it actually broke syncing. So like partway through, I noticed like people were reacting and dancing at like different parts of the song. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then it got to be enough, like I stopped playing and there weren't any emojis. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But then like I went to like walk out, and all of a sudden there's like a flood of emojis and stuff. And like it was that broken. It was like literally like a few minute difference minimum.
Oh wow.
Like it was kind of wild. And then they had to restart and create a new instance. But no, I got a lot of really good feedback from that. And then, I mean, like I said, I mean, yeah, I really jumped around a bit. Played some of the European clubs. Yeah. Tube, played Loner. Yeah. Concrete. Gosh, I don't know, just a lot of different stuff. And I mean, I'm honestly super honored I got to play for them. And, you know, honestly, it's just like, I don't know, I'm just having fun. And I mean, even if I don't play for certain clubs, I don't really care. I don't really care if it's a big club. I don't really care if it's a small club. You know, I'll just hang out with people and have fun. And, you know, that's all that really matters. And, you know, a lot of these clubs, there's like obviously different things about them. You know, if I play for like Vibe Tribe, you know, obviously I'm going to play kind of more hardcore, hard style type stuff. And then, you know, drum and bass for Sanctum, you know, just play a lot of drum and bass, you know. And, you know, there's actually, you know, I'm sure as like DJs, artists, like there's always like arguments of like, oh, this subgenre is better than this other subgenre. But there, you know, there's like general categories of genres, and then there's like all these subgenres. And like, you know, I basically like, as I get inspired by other DJs and, you know, check things out, you know, it's just more of like, what do I like about it? And then just run with it. So I'll still kind of somewhat cater to the audience that, you know, I'll play for, but it's like, it's basically music that I like. And in order for me to like really keep going, keep playing and stuff, it's like, I have to enjoy what I'm playing to like it. And that to me, otherwise there's like, I feel like there's no point, you know. It's like, why would I play music that I don't like, you know? But yeah, I just really have fun with it and just full send it and hope people like it. And I mean, I keep getting asked, so I mean, I must be doing something right.
It's
so.
Weird because again, like we've had some guests on this program where the chill has always been their most like typical temperature, right? And with you, again, you do something that you enjoy. You will exert that kind of like emotion, that feeling, and the people are going to pick up on it, being like, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy's having fun. I want to party with this guy because he's having fun." And he's not too worried about things kind of messing up. So I feel like a lot of people get drawn to that, and the fact that you're just over here doing whatever, and people are like, "Oh, I want to be a part of Mow the Lawn," or "I want to be on the lawn." You know, it's kind of like you're in the mix, but like you're on the lawn.
Exactly.
You can take that, by the way. I'll let you have that. But
all right, thank you.
But more importantly, too, it's just like, you know, as you were saying earlier on, it's just like, at that time it was still fairly new, and getting those opportunities, I would only assume were much easier than they are now. So maybe let's toss around this idea of just like, you know, I would only assume that you would also be able to see what it's like to try to get into a club or do an open deck somewhere or just be a part of a lineup nowadays compared to how you were starting. And again, we bring this up because of the fact that, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, if I were to say Mow the Lawn in VRChat, people would know who you are, compared to someone who is, you know, but you've been around for a while, you've been playing for these clubs, and there are some people that are genuinely wanting to either be in your shoes or they're getting frustrated because those opportunities are kind of far and few, let alone some of these clubs, you actually have to sign up literally a month in advance before you start performing. So talk to me about that process, because it does seem a little intimidating now compared to how when you first started.
Yeah. I I mean, there were still some things like that, but like, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just practice, 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 keep playing. Doesn't matter who it's for. I mean, you could honestly still do your own thing. You can stream for yourself and just, let people enjoy, advertise it or whatever. And, you don't have to necessarily rely on a club like that. And even then it's just like, you very likely there's friends that are DJs or, run events in the scene. And it's just more of like hanging out with them, playing, open decks. If there's any open decks, we'll send it. And then just simply talking to the club owner and just getting to know them, stick around for events, and of course some people's time are limited. I mean, shoot, especially nowadays for me, but just hanging out with the crowd that seems to kind of mesh with you and, just eventually just ask to play. You just got to have fun with it. And, even if like a club doesn't work out, there's so many other clubs out there that, someone's bound to like want to hang out with you and have fun and, give you an opportunity to play.
Keeping that motivation's real key, especially in here when understanding the things that you want to perform. As you were saying earlier, that like coming in here, I feel like those people that are coming into the rave scene in VRChat, they're kind of drawn to what is the most popular genre. And while that may not be your cup of tea, you could still accept it and enjoy it, but you will always kind of go through your little journey to try to figure out what music works for you and what you vibe with. And then you'll kind of stick with it. I would only see the same thing too as like regular, if let's just say you represent the furs and you're a furry and you want to be a part of the furs, there's a place for that. But there's also a place for furs that do music. And you're like, like that's a whole nother thing. And that's super important to understand too, is just like coming in here, practicing, performing, and even doing pop-ups on your own terms. I think a lot of people that they do come in here, they just think that that just because you're a part of the Shelter Discord doesn't mean that like you're going to be on the Shelter lineup at any given time. You do have to find a way to like not really gain trust in a sense of you. It's for me, I always call it like it's an equal amount of showing off and brown nosing. Like a little bit of both, where you have to show off a little bit of what you do, but also feel confident in the things that you do to be able to get those opportunities to do what you do. But you also can't do that if you don't have any examples. You got to come in here and you got to practice and you got to play for nobody and you got to do what you do. I do it all the time. I enjoy playing for nobody from time to time. Gives me more an incentive to do much better. And we're going to toss this a little back and forth with this concept, because what we were talking about earlier in the interview earlier on this week is we have, especially right now, we're going to try to find time to get a better understanding of the people that are performing in here and the things that they want to do in here compared to the people that are probably going to get their consoles or a new laptop or a new subscription to a DJ service during the holidays. And they're going to want to come in here. Wouldn't you know it, at the beginning of January, we're going to just see an influx of DJs come in being like, hey, Rob said this or Mo said this. Maybe I need to try this, or I got to start my own club or something. And this is kind of what we're going to be talking about today on VRCDJLIVE, of course. And for those people that are in chat, feel free to drop your questions, man. We're going to be talking with moethelawn on a lot of different things tonight. But of course, within a short amount of time, you were looking. My finger tracking is kind of scuffed right now. You were looking like the meme of that little kid that was like trying to do thumbs up and started with this and then kind of went. Yeah, we did. I saw my like ring finger kind of stick out, and I think another time I had my middle finger sticking out. I was like, hey guys, I'll give you the time to try to figure out your fingers, whatever you want. Yeah. We'll get there, I'm sure. The advanced technology in VR, I swear. But like again, trying to get that understanding of and again, I wrote this all down in kind of just a rush, and I'm looking at my notes currently here. But one of the things that I was able to see, and maybe you might have a little something to say about it, is one of the links that you've given us to promote the Linktree. I think Linktree has been so fantastic for a lot of different creators in here, because despite saying, oh, we're on Twitter, oh, we're on Twitch, oh, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're all over this place. It's just a one-stop shop. It's free. You could just kind of set it up and kind of do that. What I see you do more of, that I want a lot of people to start doing more of, is just showcasing literally everything that they've ever done. Your Instagram is just flooded with posters of events that you've created. You have a Mixcloud. You have Hear This? I think that's what it's called at the site. Yep. of just mixes that you've done. You post constantly on social media on X and Blue Sky. And I would only assume that you're going to be on TikTok at some point in time. But, at the same time, too, I'll be completely honest. There are a couple of those on SoundCloud and on Mixcloud. Those mixes are a little dated, 2023. But back in 2023, Mow the Lawn was cooking. Like, you had so much on there. And I'm just sitting here being like, when are we going to see more of this? But like, all of that is super important to continue to promote while you're DJing in virtual reality. So let's break it down from Mow the Lawn in 2023, when you were posting constantly. What was going through your mind at what you wanted to do for self-promotion? And I would only assume, because you were doing so many of these events, you just wanted a lot more attention based off of the things that you were doing in here.
Yeah, I would argue I did a lot in 2023, and I think that's actually when 2024 happened. I actually started to slow down a little bit on purpose, because I was like, I'm doing too much, and I kind of want to slow down a little bit. And people overall kind of get the gist of it. That's kind of one piece of it. Social media wise, it's honestly kind of hard to like keep up. It is really hard. Kind of like you were saying, you're literally saying like SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what have you, Blue Sky. It's just like, it's honestly hard to keep up. And I know there's been some tools in the past that kind of can help you kind of manage some of those all at the same time. And I know that's kind of even changed over time, because Twitter kind of made changes, and then that's kind of a mess there. But I try to keep up where I still try to keep active where there's more activity. And I've kind of slowly developed different use cases for all of them. So like Twitter obviously is I can't even say it's my main anymore. It used to be my main. Obviously with the changes there, that kind of went downhill. And I know a lot of the community moved to Blue Sky. So I would actually argue I post the most recently on Blue Sky, just for about anything. And it could be any of my stuff. It could be any of other people's stuff. I usually I'll just retweet just about anyone that I recognize and understand, like, and it doesn't have to be big. It could be small. And, I'll just post whatever is like, oh, that looks like a cool party, retweet, repost. And I'll just do that. Twitter, I still somewhat have, and lately that's just been more of the Japanese community, because the Japanese community is still basically all on Twitter. Like it's once they're on something, it's kind of hard that they change to something else. But I have noticed like some Japanese artists have started to use Blue Sky a little bit more. In some ways, I kind of hope that kind of keeps up, but they're still there. So all my feeds and stuff, especially at night or in early morning, it's just all Japanese pretty much. And I'll still retweet stuff there, and I still retweet stuff easily from Sarah Kai, and because all the Sushi House stuff is there. So that's one example. I mean, Instagram lately overall has been more, I was trying to showcase a little bit of VR stuff at the time, but that ended up being more local IRL stuff that I've been doing since I've been getting involved in that. So if you literally like look at it, you'll literally see posters of like all the local stuff I've been doing. I am trying to figure out to throw more VR stuff in there, because I'm finding, I don't know, like I was thinking Instagram's important, then I didn't think it was, and now I'm like running into things like even IRL, that's like, shit, I should actually like post more on there. I'll give you an example. Like I literally talked to someone, I may have had an opportunity to do an event some other place in the US, and I don't think that's going anywhere, but to be honest with you, but like I know they were really heavy in the Instagram, even though I was like, hey, look at Twitter, hey, look at this other stuff, and they're just like zeroed in on the Instagram stuff because that's just their life. So you're going to run into people over time that just have very specific focus. And that honestly kind of sucks in terms of promotion, because it's like you're trying to maybe go for some people, but then like they're over here, they're not here. And it very local to me, in Iowa, it is Facebook centric and Snapchat centric, and I don't even post my Snapchat.
Really? Snapchat?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I know. So I know. So I'm in like this DJ group that, you know, I'll talk to the promoter there, and then we'll post some stuff because they usually have Wednesday stuff. Yeah, I know. I see people in chat like, ooh, Snapchat. Wow. Oh man. Yeah, it's a different crowd. I mean, they're a good crowd, don't get me wrong. It's just like, oh my gosh, I wish they were like on Blue Sky already or something. So
we're already at a point where like Vine is trying to come back. From what I've heard recently this past week, that they're trying to rename Vine to Divine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I hope that works, because that would be really nice.
Yeah. So is there going to be a divine boom sound?
It'd be a Vine boom sound, like reversed or something like that. But no, I would love for Divine to come back and then have all of the videos that I've ever liked on Vine to like just show up, so I can be like, so I can revisit what it was like back in the day.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, I should go back to MySpace now. I don't know if that's still around. I'm kidding.
Yeah. But like, let's talk about all of these different things though, because like, again, it's so hard to sit here and go, you know, and you've said it yourself, you know, you had a little bit of burnout, you wanted to take some time away. Obviously things have gone kind of a lot more grandiose for you in the past couple of years, which we'll get into a little bit later. But for those people that are in here, I feel like there's still a percentage of so many people in virtual reality that are just like, oh, we didn't know that you were performing, you didn't post on blank, or you didn't that was a really great set, when can I hear it on blank, or why haven't you posted pictures about blank? And there'll be another percentage of people just being like, dude, everything on social media right now is free, so you want to take advantage of all the social medias, but then comes into turn with the content creation of just like, now you have to be, you know, a video editor, you have to be an audio mixing whiz, you have to look for posters, you have to you have to graphically design some of your own posters and the stuff that you need to make. So that kind of feeds into the whole content creation aspect of even just like a streamer, where you have to come up with all these overlays and all these weird things and be multifaceted. Not saying that in virtual reality you got to do that too with Blender and Unity and all that other junk, but at the same time, I feel like there's like a chapter of the VRChat DJing 101 that has to be listing as, you also have to do everything. Like once you're done DJing, you have to get your recording, and then you have to chop it up. You got to post it on social medias, posting and promoting. Even though there are some promoters in here, you kind of still have to do it yourself. So let's talk about your feelings on all of that compared to the amount of DJs that are in here currently. You know just as well as everybody does. I mean, now's not a good time because we're all busy right now, but understanding the role of being able to be like, okay, if you want to perform as often as you want to, you're going to need to put in just as much effort into your promotions on social media.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it obviously takes work. And I would also argue, like, if you're trying to do stuff in lieu of that, like potentially just having like, you know, certain friend groups, trying to build your own community kind of deal. So that way, your own Discord server, that's actually, well, goofy enough, like kind of what ended up being like a Discord server that I have. Cause long story short, OBSEC, my good friend OBSEC that I miss, he ran this thing called computer club. And then technically I have a venue called Lawncare, mow the lawns, Lawncare. And it's like literally like first edition of the world is like literally like tractors that you can ride and a big old grass field, and then the big old like what do I want to say, like a yard sale I don't know, business, lawn care business that has like one of those robots that like kind of go like this, it's just my avatar just going like this and whatnot. And then there's like a second iteration that had like underground secret military bunker kind of deal. It's not a missile, it's a very widespread fertilizer applicator. So just so you know, totally not a missile. And for the most part, and I'll just slip in here, like I have a home world being created, and it's just basically at the tail end, and it's been at this tail end for like quite a while, just because I've been busy, and then there was like some certain touches that have taken longer than expected, but I actually got some things together for that, and then I'll have something out soon, and it's just going to be kind of more of a nice homeworld kind of deal that you can relax in, but then also you can do DJ stuff in and all that stuff. So, but at this time, despite that, I've been posting on Discord there. I'll just always post my events on there, hopefully not annoy too many people on my pinging. And then just to show where, what I'm doing. But, between having a community or having some friend groups that kind of go along, do kind of go a long way too. Cause I mean, shoot, I'll give you a prime example is like 10XX. Very good DJ artist. He's, producing now, starting to do IRL stuff. And then he's always had a following. It's kind of crazy because even when I was in Rizumu, when we booked him, like he'll have a community just kind of, if he's there the whole night, like he'll just bring his community with, and then it's just like we're all hanging out and everything. If he ever like, hey, I need to jump over here, like that band of friend groups just kind of go with him. So that gets kind of crazy too to see. But I mean, that's just the fact of life too. Like just, there's some following that some DJs have really strong followings, and, they just follow the person wherever they go. For me, I'm just kind of like, I don't really have anything as strong as like 10XX like that. I have some friends that do try to make it, and I do appreciate it. And then it's just more of like mashing with the different communities there, and because sometimes it does get hard. It's like I'll play for NA at one point, EU for another time, and then Japan another time, which is like in the morning. And I'm not even a morning person. I was like, oh crap, I have to get up and go do all this, but I know people there, and it's just like, oh, I hang out with them and stuff, and it's kind of nice and everything. So, yeah.
I think kind of feeding into what you were talking about too, there's a lot of other avenues that you can take. Obviously, creating your own community can be a little difficult at times. It could be a little overwhelming, especially because like you start something and you're very proud of it, but maybe you have a band of like 35 people. And to have them on your Discord, I mean, that's great. 35 people is better than no people. But obviously, you're going to look at some of these other groups and clubs, and they've got like thousands of members, and you can be overwhelmed, being like, "Well, if I really don't have too many people in my community, is it worth your time?" It is worth your time. They're there to see you, man. So you got to pay attention to those people that love you.
Yeah.
But even more so, like, I wanted to kind of ask your opinion on this, because we're going to be diving into the fact of like you're so involved with all these other clubs and groups and communities, and I think you're just feeding off of it because of your interests in it, and that's exciting, and that's one way that you can be a part of a lot of these communities too. You have a lot of people. I'll go ahead and just throw them under the bus, because I don't know of a single soul that doesn't like them. It's the I make professional avatar people that just pop up in Discords. Like, obviously not too many people, you have to have some credibility that you do 3D modeling. Like, you can't just roll up there and be like, I'm a professional 3D modeler, and have no pictures or profiles or links or anything like that, but when you're a DJ, again, you're going to want to feed into a community that provides for the style of DJing that you probably prefer. Going back to 10XX, the people that are a part of that community love drum and bass. They love the stuff that he produces. But also at the same time, too, there are a lot of DJs that have been able to click with that community within their own means of producing, or asking questions, or showing off their examples or stuff like that. So all of that is very important. And I wanted to know your opinion on it, because of the fact that, like, there are a lot of new people that are coming in here, right? And they're choosing their path. They're choosing their path to success, how they want to handle things. And it can be just as simple as joining a popular, not even just a popular group, but a group that you vibe with and you meld with. So when it comes to understanding the journey of it all, and understanding, because and again, the question of it, I know I'm kind of tossing this back and forth a little bit, because it's still very confusing for a lot of people, because they want to just be like, okay, I do this and I want to make my own club. I want to make my own instance. I want to make my own whatever. And hopefully just start from the bottom. Now we're here. When in reality, what you can try to do is join an already started group and see how you can kind of contribute. So What is your take on that? Because we are going to be diving into your affiliation with Sushi House, with Lyoko, and as a seasoned DJ in here, I don't want to say that you already have a step in the door based off of that, but you have knowledge of the things that you can provide for a club, compared to someone that just wants to join it just because they know that it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm fully getting the question, but I think how I want to go about it is, like, there's really no one path forward. There's so many different variables, so many different people, so many different clubs, so many different tastes, vibes, and stuff that, it's kind of hard for me to say, like, hey, you need to do this and you'll be successful or whatever. It's really hard to say that. I think as long as you're not, or what I want to say, as long as you're a good person, and you don't have to be a perfect person. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Just nobody's perfect. And like, you just have to, it's just as simple as, like, if you vibe with the group or not, and then just getting to know them and just networking with people, and then just kind of, full speed from there. So, yeah, so that's basically it. It's kind of hard for me to, like, say this is the way, because there's just so many different ways, so many different aspects, and you don't even have to take it serious to a point either. I mean, you could honestly, I feel like this is what I do. I'm just having fun, and as long as other people are having fun, and cool, and then more than likely, hopefully they'll have me back at some point.
I think where I'm getting with it, and I know I kind of tossed it up a little bit, because no one path will lead you to ultimate success, because it's like a tree. Like growing a tree in here, you got to start at the base. The base happens to be you joining VRChat. That's the base. and where you decide to go and how you enjoy VR chat is going to be your own personal success of that. And I feel like that's super important to understand, especially from people at home, because you have a lot of people that are interested in VR chat, maybe for the wrong reasons, and then they come into VR chat looking for the wrong reasons, and then complaining because they found the wrong reasons. Well, no duh. Yeah. You were looking for the wrong reasons. You're
Exactly.
like if you're gonna feed into the whole DJ community and you start like if you actually watched ShelterCon and saw, man, that kicked ass. That was cool. Having a lot of fun. People are having fun. All those people that are in the crowd, they must be DJs. They must know Tony. They must know the group or whatever. Not all of them are DJs, but at the same time, some of them are DJs, and they do like to be out there and enjoy it. But you don't have to be there to enjoy VR chat in general. You know, you don't have to be a part of Shelter to enjoy Shelter. But also too, I think where I'm going with it is like, it shouldn't be the thing of I'm going to join Sushi House on Discord in hopes that I will play for Sushi House. Like I think you want to join Sushi House to, here's where I'm going with this is finding friendship and networking in here has always been the crux of VR chat. Like you would think that chatting wouldn't be as difficult as the way we're saying that chatting is. A lot of people in here have a hard time chatting or trying to network or talk or something. And I think what we're ultimately trying to find out is the proper way to go down those avenues of like, listen, if you want to talk DJing, come to VRCDJLIVE. We're ask your questions. We're here to answer your questions. But at the same time too, we're providing you materials of like, hey, listen, why don't you go to this Discord and talk to these people? And then you'll have a bunch of people doing this, I don't know. I don't want to talk to nobody. But in reality, as musicians, we all want people to listen to the stuff that we make. I feel like that's kind of a given.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of like getting to like asking, it's like dating. It's like dating. Like you're not going to feel satisfied until you ask, will you date me? And they respond yes or no. But you're also nervous because you don't want to know yes or no. So it's kind of the toss up of it. And I wanted your opinion on that because we are going to be feeding into Sushi House and Lyoko, because again, your involvement with them is a little beyond regular DJing for those clubs. And I want people to get an understanding of it, almost the same as saying you can come in here and see talent. No one's telling you to come in here to see the extra talent, but at the same time, take some time, go see someone you've never seen before, and then broaden your horizons with that. We are going to get into it in a moment. It's VRCDJLIVE, of course. We're here with moethelawn, and before we start diving into all the nitty gritty, which we still have about an hour or so, we're schmoving. I want to dive in a little bit about your interests of getting into virtual reality to begin with. I don't know if I even want to start with the obvious question, which I think a lot of people have been wanting to ask, or they have asked before. Why mow the lawn?
Oh, let's see. So this was years ago. It's not complicated. It's not complicated at all. It's more of like, what does 12-year-old me want for like a Gmail account or a Yahoo account or whatever it was at the time? Yeah, I know. So
do you still have a Hotmail? Is that what a Hotmail or what was that?
I think I still have it. Yeah, I'm sure if you hit me up on any of them, it'll probably go to me. Hopefully I'll look at it. I don't know. But so Mo is my name, so it's not overly complicated, like I said. And I was literally mowing the lawn, and then I was like, hey, maybe that's my username, mow the lawn. So that's what I came up with. And I ran with that for years.
Have you even looked in the whole idea of like, why is it called mowing the lawn? I know you're using a mower, but why isn't it just cutting the grass?
don't know. I've helped my parents mow the lawn, and I still mow the lawn today. So I'm actually doing what my name is. So it's just that's just what I came up with basically. And it's kind of funny too sometimes because sometimes I'll see different variations of like text. They'll capitalize some words, they'll put spaces in words. I usually just do all lowercase, all one word. And I feel like that just makes it easier and just stands out a little bit more. But then it's kind of funny, even like with the Japanese scene, they'll say, "Oh, moe the lawn."
Yeah, but being known as moe sounds pretty dope too, I guess.
It is. I was like, I'll take it. Yeah, sure.
So were you struggling with a name when you first came in here? Because again, one of the things that like I saw when you submitted the form to be a part of the show, you wrote this ginormous paragraph, like at least 7 sentences, 8 sentences of literally almost everything you've ever done since the dawn of time. And so I want you to be able to break that down for us, because most of the time when we have people come in here as guests, they're either a gamer first and then a DJ, or a DJ first and then a gamer later, or a little bit of both here and there. So kind of talk to us about how you even stumble across VRChat.
Let's see. I guess I would say I am a gamer first. That's for sure. God, even when I was young, I mean, I had like, like, here's this big paragraph, and here I am. I don't even remember what I sent you, by the way. I'm pretty sure I'm like making this like way longer, but hopefully shorter too.
Well, I think you're gonna tell us about like the first games you've ever played, and I'm interested now.
NBA Live 98 on PlayStation, Jurassic World, gosh, just PlayStation games. PlayStation. Well, is it my first console? It's not, I guess. My own, it was. I guess you could argue my mom's Atari 2600 was my first console.
Nice.
So like Super Breakout and stuff, but yeah, very old school there. So I'm always been a PlayStation fan, even though like I have a PlayStation 5 actually. I think I have every iteration except for any of like the Pro versions, and I even have a PSP. I actually don't have a Vita, but yeah, I've played a lot of games. But that said, when I first got internet, I was basically looking at forums and stuff, and then there was even like a group called Game Winners, and talk about like different games and methods and whatnot, and had fun with that community there. Then I actually made my own. It was called Game Renegades. And yeah, so all this community stuff, I've done community stuff for like the longest time, and it's kind of crazy. And it's like, it just kind of worked out that way, and I just have fun with it. But yeah, I made Game Renegades, and then, so it was like kind of a similar site, but just my own thing. And I had a group of friends on there, and I went as far as like, when I had internet, I had Counter-Strike Source more so. I actually didn't play much 1.6, but Counter-Strike Source, and then obviously eventually Go when that came to be, and hanging out with some friends there. It was also like Unreal Tournament, Quake 3. It was actually probably a lot more FPS games for the PC side of things. And then I had some friends that got into LAN parties and stuff. And
yeah, we're gonna have to play some shooters at some point in time.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. Hell yeah. And then, what do I say? I got into college. I'll just say I went to Iowa State. And when I went there, there was no video game club. And I think there used to be, and a lot of them kind of died off over time. And I actually went and made Game Renegades as a video game club at Iowa State, or game club in general, I should say. And I opened it up to, it's just, I've held LAN parties, and had tournaments and, just got a bunch of people together, and it was actually pretty successful. And dare I say, it actually still exists today, and it's like 19 years old right now. I'm just dating myself. Now it's not called Game Renegades anymore, and that's fair, because I wondered, when I made it, I was like, I long story short, wanted to tie it all together, and then that didn't exactly work out because there's some strict policies on like some university club type stuff, and so I just broke that apart. But I still had, like, say, Counter-Strike Source. I actually got a server. I got funding for a server, and it was even like down to like next to the supercomputer. It's so funny. Like, I walk in like the data center, and like you have this giant ass like supercomputer, and right next to it is a little plain white game server kind of deal that we just built. And like, weirdly enough, it was like super popular at the time too, because I did like 24/7 office map. I did what's called gun game, where you go through all the guns in the map, and I change sounds every month. And that's what made it popular, is like, instead of like the Mario sounds, like it was like I threw in like Bender or Michael Jackson or Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, and people got a kick out of it. So I basically had people around the world just connect to it and just played. Like, it was always busy, that and the 24/7 office map server. So yeah, definitely gamer first on a lot of that stuff. But the name thing, they changed it, and I'm not surprised, and it's all fine. But like, they call it like gaming and esports at Iowa State.
Dude, it's too bad that you can't just roll up in there with like your experience of VR chat and being like, well, this is what I've been cooking. I'm not saying you got to roll up in there and be like, I developed this, like developed this team.
Weirdly enough, and this isn't something I've always talked about, I actually rarely told anyone, but like, I'm actually still in their Discord, like when the Discord got set up. And so they have me as like this permanent advisor.
Let's go.
Person. So they all know exactly who I am. And once in a while, I'll show up to like, say, the alumni LAN and whatnot and play. So probably over time, less and less people kind of know me on there. But yes, I still talk on their Discord at times, and they do see what I'm doing. Like, I have talked to people about VRChat on there, and matter of fact, whenever I stream, they have a bot that just pings everybody that's on the stream ping, and so they can actually jump in and play. I actually happened to run into someone who had VRChat on there. Not a lot of people play VRChat on there, but I've noticed like a little bit over time, there's like kind of a little bit more interest. So
that's wild.
It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm still active on that server. So yeah, I just took you like way back. So being gamer first. Okay. What is it? So speaking of like gamers, like I had a gamer group, and I have friends like, Burry, Tony, Reaper, and interestingly enough, Sly was actually in the gaming in that group. So I actually knew Sly before I even like jumped into it. Now, I didn't really talk to him a whole lot because when some of the people in the group, this was like back in 2017. So this is like literally like the first year of VRChat that's like public and everything. I actually made an account. Well, my actual account's technically 2018, but my my Steam account is from 2017. So I've had an account for years. But I hopped in desktop. I did not have a VR headset, and I was just like, I don't know, like, I don't really get this. And like talking to random people and like, I don't know, like, I guess I just wasn't immersed. So it didn't really appeal to me too much. I mean, I'd hang out with the friends a little bit there, but it wasn't enough that I was just like, whatever, and I had like so many things in college and whatnot, or not college, sorry. Just so many life things going on that I was just like, no, I wasn't really that into it. So I've been off for a few years, and then 2020 hits. Now I actually saw the index and I was interested in it. And this was like early March. So in a weird way, like I saw what was going on with COVID. And the long story short of that is I actually had tickets to go to Japan in February or March, somewhere around there. I basically had, I think it was more so March.
March is when it was kind of hitting.
Yeah. But even then, like it was actually hitting Japan already early on, like China and then Japan. And that was like getting January into February. So like all this news about COVID already existed. And I knew that was like a snowball. And I was even talking to family and I was like, gosh, I don't even know if I can go out there, because even if I go out there, I probably wouldn't be able to see anything because a lot of things are closed. I saw a lot of stuff closed down. So, yeah, just long story short on that, I didn't go. And, but I was kind of interested in the headset, and then I had like, I guess a raise from work and whatnot. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this headset. It seems cool. And maybe I'll, get into some VR stuff here. So I bought the headset. And then like literally the day that basically everything shut down, it was like, Friday, March, I can't remember, it was like 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. The day that I received it, just everything shut down. I'm like, well, crap, like, well, crap in terms of like, I'm stuck here. But then I was like, well, I got this headset now. I guess I might as well use it and start, playing around with it. I have time now. And, so I happened to get it before the rush that everyone was like trying to buy stuff and whatnot, and the supply chain issues. But so I got it. Then I slowly start to I played like Pavlov and some other games. But then I was like, you know what, I'll check out VRChat again. So I hopped into VRChat, and eventually I started to get to know people. Know some friends there, and a couple people I'll just point out, like Cyber Obsequious or Obsec V2, and then later V4, and then Mantisan. I got to know them, and there was like some other people that basically it was just more social, and maybe even some drinking.
I was going to ask you about that process too, because again, the clubs were kind of coming out, but at the same time, when you were just learning to come in here, you just went to a couple of public instances, or you were just checking out cool worlds that could have been cool?
Yeah, public instances and stuff. Gosh, I remember the Ugandan Knuckles stuff too, and going to Black Cat and all that. And yeah, just more, we were just hanging out, socialize with people, and some of it, a little bit was some IRL friends, and then some of it was just completely random people that I just really enjoyed hanging out with. So the primary thing was just social events. And then Manti and OPSEC were basically like, hey, let's go check out this MVP group, or Rizumu, or DDVR, and even Shelter too, when they were first starting. Basically like checking out these groups, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. And I think I was kind of touching base on it a little bit. Yeah, Manti's in chat. I see that. That's cool. And that's when OBSEC was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start DJing. So, and that dude is so focused and everything. And like, he bought a deck. I can't remember what deck it was. I think it was like a Serato one, Pioneer Serato, SX2 maybe. And then he was like, he's the type of person is like, he'll figure everything out about the deck or the device or whatever. And he was like pressing every button, twisting every knob, and just learning every single thing about it. He's such a technical dude. It's insane. Smart dude. And so once he was ready, he was starting to do all the DJing and stuff. And so all he was really doing was just DJing with friends. He was just like doing his own thing and whatnot. And then that's why I was like, hey, you know what? I'll help take care of everything else that's going on in the world, so that way you don't have to worry about it. Because sometimes he can, you know, if you distract him enough, it can like totally derail him a little bit. So I was like, okay, I got you. Don't worry about it. So I was just helping him out there and just hanging out with friends and stuff. And basically, you know, between that and then continuing to check out DDVR, checking out Resumu, checking out, you know, MVP, and eventually Shelter. It was like, you know, he's starting to DJ a little bit. He DJ'd for DDVR. And then I saw the host application Resume. I was like, you know what? Why don't I just try that? And it was kind of a odd time too, because the very first night that I was basically staff was like the night we were actually helping out Shelter for that Must Die event. So we were just helping like with overflow instances and just making sure things were okay. And so that was like jumping into the deep end there a little bit. And, you know, in terms of like all the different people showing up, and then, you know, just making sure they behave. And let's see. So got to start hosting and host normal events. And that's when the ship came out. So that was really cool. And then around that time too, there was a thing, an event called Armageddon. And that was kind of more led by Deadly Haru. And Haru basically shortly after that time actually went off and technically spun Armageddon out to a group called Seventh Dimension, which had Deagle and Badlands run that. And I got to know that group, and that group was fun to be with, and just more hanging out and whatnot. Eventually I did become staff for them and just helping them out. That was like a year or two later, I want to say. But at least for Resume, I was just more focused on Resume, just helping out. And then I was like, shoot, I mean, I really got to know Armageddon again through Mantisan, like all this like bass heavy stuff. That's just basically the theme. It's just kind of like heavy bass stuff. It can vary on bass music, but you know, essentially that dubstep, drum and bass, could be rhythm, 140, bass house, even just anything bassy, really. And I missed that, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to keep that going. So I ended up just running Armageddon. I basically asked staff, I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I like keep that going? And they were like, yeah, sure. So they were very supportive. I have people help host with me on that. But then the nice thing about that event was that basically I actually started creating my own events. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see what happens if you stick, you know, Wookiee dubs with melon slices with like fetus grinder and stuff. I think that was actually like the first lineup and stuff, like all these different people that I wouldn't normally see together. And it's just like, let's just combine them and just see what happens, you know? And gosh, that was such a fun event. And a lot of the other events too, that my general thing was like, hey, you know, could I get, I guess you could say like kind of a more popular DJ or something kind of get together, and then maybe even like someone you don't really know much. And I think you were kind of getting at this is like, you know, how to network, how to, you know, talk to people. And usually what helps me is like, if I see them, then I'm more likely to talk to them. But even if I didn't see them in VRChat necessarily, there's some people that have reached out to me, or there were friends that recommended these people to me. And then I was like, hey, just, if they have a mix somewhere, it'd be really cool to see that. And so I do, sometimes I'll listen to the whole thing, and then sometimes, just depending on time, I'll just get like different bits and pieces. It just depends on what goes on. But I will try to like listen in, and I was like, as long as you can do transitions, like, it doesn't have to be technical. It could be simple. I mean, as long as the vibe's there and the set's good overall, like, it's like, okay, I could definitely like throw you in an event sometime. So I always tried like different mishmash of people. And then as I continue to help Resumu, Emma at the time, I think, left. Mojo became admin. Aliquim was still admin. Indy was still obviously there. And then Paul Manton was like helping out quite a bit. He was actually honestly like the bridge to the Japanese community. So we don't actually always have like Japanese DJs over almost every night, really. Kind of towards the end of the night, because then it's a little bit easier for them, like afternoon time for them the next day, because of the time zone difference. But basically then I got to know a lot of the Japanese DJs, and then like whether it was like Armageddon or like even our normal Saturday main events, it was like I just want to keep mixing people. So like say bass heavy stuff, what was her name? It was like Clumsy Hypnosis or something like that. And then there's like Charuzia and stuff. Like basically just grab some of these people and Walta K. They were like Japanese, like heavy dubstep DJs. I was like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. And like, I threw them on a lineup, and I think there was even a group called Headbangers at the time. And, at once in a while we did bass heavy events, and then we did worldwide bass. I think some of them played for that too. And, where we did like, I think it was like 17 hours of bass music. And I was like, God, involved with like 4 out of the 5 clubs in that at that time. So that was a little wild. Again, probably got too involved there, too busy with that. But basically creating different lineups like that, and like mashing different people together, and just seeing different combinations, whether, even if it's like the type of music over time, or just people all over the world, Japan, EU, LATAM, just whoever, and like just mash them all. And it's just always cool to see, those kinds of combinations. And that's where I just had so much fun making those events. So I just kept doing that. And yeah, but I think your question was like kind of, radar kind of stuff. I mean, it is easier for me to like, if I see you, to know you, but I mean, there's some people I've also briefly talked to, and like even on Discord, if they put on a good vibe and stuff, and I'll try to throw them on if I can. Recently there was like a guy named K11. He's from South Africa, and I remember seeing him a couple times in Sushi House, and he always wanted to play at Sushi House. And I listened to his set and that he uploaded, and it was like pretty good. And I was like, yeah, let's just get you on there sometime. So, sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask at all. I've been honored to, like, for me, like, I haven't really asked much to play. I try not to, because I don't want to play too much. But there has been a few groups that's like, hey, it'd be cool to like do something with you guys. And, all it is just simple as that. And I have gotten like a no response, and, that's fine. If they have certain, like, some event coordinators have like different criteria or different things that they want to do. And it could be different. It could be something that, I'll admit, like, some of them are just like, you only see like close friends play. And so that could be very tough to get into or break, but some are pretty darn open. So I mean, it's just long as like you talk to them, vibe with them and everything, it's just like, you know, it's worth a shot. And then, if they say no, that's okay. You just move on. There's hundreds of other clubs that, you could do, or you can make your own event and stuff. And, and there, it's always interesting to see like all the different clubs that are out there. When I started, it was like very few clubs, like I said, MVP, Rizumu, DDVR, and Shelter was just starting out. You didn't really see a whole lot beyond that. And I think there were clubs back then too. And there were definitely clubs. I think like, was it Dirty Dancers before that? And I don't even want to say one word, but well, not say it. But yeah, there were a lot fewer clubs, but they were still out there. Club Underground's been around for 6 years. The club and bar Hanayasame has been around for a long, long time too. And I mean, there's just basically a lot out there. And it's kind of crazy to see how the scene has like really grown since then, and just a lot more options and a lot more things out there. And, and they continue to grow. It's wild, and it's really cool to see. So yeah, just, there's someone out there. There's a group out there, just go and, try to say hi and hang out with them, or have a friend help out and say, hey, could you recommend there? Can you get this guy on sometime? And, sometimes that's all it takes too.
What I find so fascinating about you breaking all of this down, because there was a point where I was going to ask you about when you first got in compared to a little bit of a transition into 2020, 2021. On the program, we do talk about the boom of 2022, because as much as 2020 was kind of a key area, 2022 really kind of ramped up everything, because it wasn't the people that got the headsets in 2020 were super lucky, because it's just like, between 2020 and 2022, it didn't seem like there were enough parts or ways to get those headsets out at any given time.
Sure.
So around 2022, as well as the PBS special that was up on YouTube and any other videos that were kind of playing into it, obviously kind of kickstarted a lot of what was going on here. But what I find so interesting about what you were talking about was the fact of like, you, I believe, were very interested in not even just the backgrounds, but just the overall mechanics of how a lot of these groups were working. Rizumu, and I don't know, kind of off the record, if you will. I know both you and I were kind of feeding into a little bit of Aliquim ended up making a post up on social media about Rizumu and understanding her role within Rizumu, or if people trying to remember what Rizumu is all about. And I'll say off of my chest, like, coming from the guy who has a mix in a very popular drinking world that's literally been in there for about 7 to 8 years. I could attest to your problem of trying to, be like, who is Aliquim? Who is Rizumu? What is Rizumu? There will be times where we bring that back and go, oh, they were the forefront of it all. Not saying that that's what me, but I keep hearing that all the time from a lot of people. And I'm just like, dude, it's been 7 years. Get over yourself. But at the same time too, around that time, you guys were literally building the foundation of what could potentially be in the future, even comparable to the things that you proactively wanted to do, the way you set up the events and the way you wanted to kind of set all that up. As far as the performance part of it, you were kind of building the framework for what we were kind of going with this. Is it really doesn't matter who you play for as long as you play. VRChat, in my opinion, and I'm sure you can nod your head with this too, is so much easier for better outreach than any other club or bar if you try to do IRL stuff, because it's worth its weight in a Hollywood movie where you play that one gig at that one bar, and then you got that dude in the back who's like in a suit smoking a cigar. He's working with some sort of record company. He's like, "You got chutzpah, kid. Like, we're gonna get you signed, and we're gonna provide for you." But like, most of the time that's not even a thing anymore, and it is a lot about networking. It's a lot about reaching out to the people that are very passionate just like you are, and being in the right time in the right room, just doing what you're doing. And even in the case of that, is just like, you heard of someone who played a thing, and wouldn't you know it, when we just started talking at the beginning of this show, is being able to showcase a little bit of what you do. I know it's a little bit of a lot of work to be able to just put it out there, and you kind of have to check yourself and just be like, it's not a matter of, oh, who cares or who can listen to it. It's a matter of, it's out there. Someone's bound to like it, and if not, share it with someone who enjoys that. If you play drum and bass, go hang out with the drum and bass people, talk with the drum and bass people.
Yeah.
But even in
exactly.
the case of you saying, "Oh, those people, I would have never heard of them at all," to I heard a little bit of them. That little bit definitely goes a long way when even building up all of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And then when I know it's like we're trying to build up to this, we're trying to figure all this out, but at the same time, you literally just like talked my ear off for like 15 minutes, but that's perfectly fine. But that's kind of it though. Like, when we're trying to continue to like feed into the future of what we're doing in here, and I think right now it sucks right now because you have so many people, and the new kids are feeding into what the seasoned professionals in here are doing, and I feel like they're kind of eyeballing, especially with the crossover events, of just being like, well, if Shelter can do a really big show, how can't I? Like, why can't I? Could I? Do I have the budget? Can I do it? And it sucks because we see them fail. We see them fail a little bit, but they're learning with it. It's not a matter of it's over. Like, if you can't afford it or you can't do it, learn from your mistakes and then carry on. Same thing with like performing in here. Not every event is going to be perfect. Not every person is perfect, but when you play those least perfect events, then you can grow from that and learn from that, kind of carrying on. This whole process has been beefed up so much. And obviously, back in 2020, it seemed a little bit easier, only because there wasn't so much popularity based off of it, compared to even just breaking down the gate of like gatekeeping.
Sure.
We want everybody to succeed. We want everybody to do well. And even in your case of wanting to be a part of a lot of these clubs and being in the staff and understanding and building of all of that, I would assume that's all you've ever wanted to. So I guess where I could be going with this with the next question, I'm going to try to speed this up because there's so much more I want to talk about. I'm so excited. But at the same time, like, within the 5 years that you've been in here, what has been kind of your main focus? I feel like you do feed into a lot of different things. You take bites of little things. And I know DJing was quite the passion for you 2022, 2023, as it clearly shows on social media and up on like Mixcloud and stuff like that. Where do you see yourself now? You're feeding more into performing? Are you like interacting? Are you looking to like better virtual reality representation?
Yeah. Gosh, I'd say real quick, when you mentioned like the IRL guy, what do I want to say? It is kind of tough getting into the local scene a little bit. Sometimes it's not. You do want to like get to know people there. I mean, shoot, the local scene, I've got to know local DJs and local promoters, venue owners, and I've talked to them. Some of them, I just blow their mind when it comes to virtual reality. And then there's like other people. There was like literally one venue owner that I talked to literally just this past week, of like, he knew about virtual reality, and then the moment he honestly didn't really care too much, until I said the words like virtual reality, and he's like, I want to talk to you more, because he's already like looked into it and everything. And so it's kind of interesting, like what people actually already know and what they don't know and what's actually out there and the talent that's out there. And there's some like local DJs that are very talented. And I'm gonna credit Rue. Like honestly, sometimes it's quite a different vibe seeing like going to a VRChat club and like listen to all the DJs there play, and then you know you go to the local club and it's like you know, it's okay, you know. So it's kind of crazy. It's almost like, you know, it's easy to get into here and everything. It's awesome to like basically learn from everybody, and then basically it's like a hyperbolic chamber in a sense. Like this is like a drama, a DBZ episode that, you know, we're all like in that hyperbolic chamber. It all is like, you know, growing and learning and doing like, you know, really awesome stuff. And you know, and then to release, you know, yourself into the IRL space like that, it just blows people's minds. And so there's definitely some IRL people that are interested in this, and it's like I'm trying to show them more things, and then they're potentially wanting to do some stuff along with VR. And then there's producers, or basically DJs, that have started to produce and started just going out there. And you know, Oral Umbra is like a prime example of that. Like, you know, he's starting to do stuff with Ghost Data. He collabed with Ghost Data, and you know, done events there. And he's just, I mean, in my opinion, he's killing it, and it's just really cool to see. And Oxide, I'll just say this, like Oxide literally just posted, I think yesterday, of like, hey, we have this music production group, and let's all learn music production together. And there's a lot of people that are starting to like, you know, jump in there, starting to learn, and kind of basically taking, you know, I don't know if I want to say DJing, but like their artists to like abilities to the next level. And I will be honest with you, just based on my experience, it is pretty hard to be just a DJ and trying to get on like lineups and stuff. You know, it is a kind of hard, and you honestly have to be a producer. I think I was literally saying this earlier, where like I was talking to this promoter, I don't think it's going to work out kind of deal. Like literally the dude was expecting me to like sell tables and stuff, or like they really care about following, they really care about this and that. And it's kind of hard to do, or I would argue it's probably a little bit easier to do if you're a producer, because people are already following you for music and stuff. It's very ingestible, you know, if you throw things in Spotify or a label that's doing all the promotion type work, and you know, just getting your music out there and people checking it out. And you know, and then I feel like you will get an easier time, you know, doing gigs and stuff. So that said, like I am trying to learn how to produce. I've been trying to learn for a couple years. Time wise, I have not given myself time, whether it's in my control or not, to learn to produce. I have Ableton, I have all these plugins, I have all this stuff, and I'm trying to learn. Now I'm not doing it because, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to get on some lineups and stuff, like, and to kind of see where it takes it. I guess that's the biggest thing, is like, I kind of want to see where it takes me. And then not only that, like in my mind, I'm like a jukebox, and I'm pretty sure I make my wife go insane sometimes, because I'll just like say random shit, like kind of like, I don't know, it, like I remember music just randomly, and then like even change out words and do silly stuff like that. And like and shoot, even like pre-DJing, what actually really got me into DJing, it was not just OPSEC, but I I knew I could sing, I could play piano, and I could play a little bit of guitar. So like I had, some, and I played alto sax as well. So like I already have like a music background. Like I understand bar, measure, phrase, keys, things like that. So it's like I have some skills that basically can easily translate into DJing, just learning all the stuff about that and to produce. And I feel like by DJing first as well, not that you have to, but by DJing first, I feel like I have probably a better grasp at producing music. Now I'm still learning and everything, but I know there's like nuance type stuff that I might run into with a certain artist that, it's like, why did they do this? This makes transitions like really hard or whatever. And I feel like maybe some producers, like some have like really good music theory, and then some I would argue probably not so much. But I think they do it because it's like, oh, this sounds cool and everything, and then they just kind of full send it. But as a DJ, it kind of sucks because it's like, oh, this could have been like, some sort of better build up or some sort of this or that to like make it easier to like do doubles or transitions and stuff, because all of a sudden they did a random like 2-bar pause or something. I don't know. It's like,
I mean,
just random stuff like that.
You could also, there's a whole calling, which I've been kind of feeding into myself, where you just make club edits. I mean, I know a dude in Connecticut that's been super famous because of his club edits. He'll take regular tunes, and just, put an intro, put an outro, and then send it. And then people are all like, give me more. I want more of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think with all that, I mean, I think it's going to help me be a better producer. And I've sat down with people. Shoot, I even sat down with Muzz, and he was like showing me some stuff. And like, I just need to like give myself time and then basically full send it. And then the funny thing is, I was telling about like songs in my head and stuff. Like sometimes I'll just get random stuff out, and then like, oh, that's a song idea. And I'll run to the computer and I'll record myself making all these noises and stuff. So it's like, okay, I'm going to save that idea for later. So that way, when I like try to produce something, like it'll have that melody, it'll have that kind of earworm type of stuff. And then, hopefully it turns out well. So I do that. And, but even so, it's just like, as long as I give myself that time, I think I can do some pretty cool stuff with it. And I'm kind of curious to see where that will go. I don't really care if I'm like the next Deadmau5 or like, I don't know, just some Joe Schmo, producer. I don't really care. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, but how amazing would it be that, like, let's just say, like, if things don't really work out with this bar, this club that you're talking to for virtual reality, let's just say in 2026, you have one cracked out song. Like, you make one, maybe it is about mowing the lawn. Maybe because listen, tech house nowadays is getting really ridiculous with it. They're making really weird stuff. They're taking memes and they're doing it in the cut section between, where you need to be. Hell, we have the Iran song, or the I Run song, that's literally a meme, and it's literally made it with AI, and people are like trying to fight it and stuff like that. It's like, okay, great. But at least you'll have a Spotify with that one tune, and you can go back to those numbers like you were saying and being like, well, I could play here because I just did all these numbers.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't know. I'm just kind of musically inclined, and like I'm just like, I kind of want to see what kind of cool stuff I want to make, and hopefully people enjoy it. And if they don't, then I'll just play it myself, whatever.
Honestly, you make some really cool stuff, and then you just go out there and perform it. That's the biggest hope of this whole thing. It's VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with Mow the Lawn, and we're coming up not really towards the end of the program, but I mean, I do want to dive into a little bit of a lot of different things that we have kind of going on here. Again, in the past couple of years, you've been on and off trying to do some DJing and promoting and recording and stuff like that. You got to perform at Four Seasons a couple of months ago, and now
Yes.
you can kind of claim that you're an international DJ. So talk to us a little bit. I mean, listen, when you were saying that you were decompressing, giving yourself some time. Here comes Four Seasons saying, "Let's have you perform out in Amsterdam," and now you're probably rethinking, going, "Huh, maybe I can go a little bit more international." You were saying with Sushi House that you were able to go to Japan? Did you perform out there too, or what was that all about?
No, and that it just reminded me of like how my Japan trip got canceled in 2020. Well, I returned to Japan, or I finally made it to Japan in 2023, and by then I knew a lot of the Japanese DJs and stuff out there. Were could I have like asked around and tried to perform? Yeah, probably. But I was actually mainly out there to kind of meet up with people and, just check Japan out. I just treat it as a vacation pretty much. Um, so I honestly got to meet a lot of cool people. There was like actually a real event. Oh shoot, I can't remember the exact name of it. It's like Real, starts with a D, but who is it? Shiria. They um made the lineup, and it's like literally a bunch of full, like all these like Japanese DJs, or even like actually assertive was out there. That one was kind of funny because I talked to him at ShelterCon just before that, and he literally just got back from a Japanese tour and whatnot. He was literally just out there, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Japan, blah blah blah." More to see like, "Hey, what do you recommend checking out and stuff?" And he's like, "Cool, I'll see you there." I was like, "Wait, what?" So I went out and saw him out there, and he actually like, I don't know if it was planned or what, but he was like with some people and like actually DJing out there. But they took over like Circus Tokyo. It was like literally the first real big IRL event, kind of ShelterCon in a way, but in Japan. And they had two floors, the main stage and then the upper floor thing. And even though I didn't know a lot of Japanese, I tried to learn like some very basic stuff. Um, it was just enough to like, get by, but then also like basically everybody's enjoying the music and everybody is drinking, kampai, cheers, and we're all just having fun. And, it was just really cool. I got to see Narusan, I got to see Sarah-san there, Zistron, God, just a lot of really cool DJs. And just, I was like, I never would imagine I would have met any of them. And here I am. And God, that was so much fun. And I met up with Sarah-san another time and just tried to check some places out. And then I went to Tokyo, then I went to Osaka and met up with Daifuku. That was really cool. Couldn't meet up with Maddie, 'cause busy. And then I went up to Tokyo, or Kyoto, and then back down. And then I went to like the Tokushima prefecture because I had a buddy out there that was teaching English at the time. And so I did have like a known friend out there too, outside of VRChat. But like between that and then like the next year, I went to Ireland, UK. I hopped over to Dublin, met up with Riddick, flew over to London, met up with Muzz. He was nice enough to like give me like an all access pass. That was pretty cool. Basically it was technically like a 360 kind of setup, but then like for me, like I could actually like get behind him and be like, woo, and stuff. So like I have some like a lot of videos and stuff. So it was cool like seeing him perform and like just meeting up with like Rach and Zaki and Riley and other people out there. And went to see a Liverpool game up there, and then I flew over to Belfast in Northern Ireland and met up with Tim Boy, and then I took a coach down. So I said hi to Riddick again, and then basically flew back. And then this last year, yeah, it was just in the Netherlands and all the European homies that I haven't met yet. Especially Medlish. I was like so excited to meet up with him. I was excited to meet up with Merles, Kex and Tatsu and just a bunch of people. And it was really cool hanging out with you out there too, and drink some beer and eat some stroopwafels. And it was a lot of fun out there.
So, talking a little bit about all of this when it comes to the ongoing growth of doing these crossover events, VR to IRL. Obviously, the past couple of years, they've really started to kind of ramp up. A lot of different communities are wanting to do some really cool stuff. They're learning what it takes to kind of set all this stuff up. And then, as you and I both saw with Four Seasons, that it was just this massive takeover of just like they had a huge venue, a medium-sized venue. It filled out. But how much involvement with like tech was involved, and how many people on staff were running different things, the video wall and the webcams and the streams, and we also had the portal and even just the regular audio setup is just so much to fathom. And a lot of this, it makes me a little worried, without being too negative about it, because I think it's a good concept. It's fun, it's exciting, it takes you out of virtual reality. Not all of us have the good gracious of being able to travel, or being able to go to all these different events. My roommate really wants to do it too. He doesn't have a passport, and I'm just like, well, maybe we should work on that. But I know that with everything going on, we're constantly trying to do that. We're trying to really broaden our horizons and being able to travel to places that we've never been to, and be able to interact with the people that we have been calling each other friends for such a long time. So how important is this moving forward, in your opinion? Because now not only are you being able to perform all these places, but also be a part of the Japanese scene and being able to travel to Japan and meet up with a bunch of VRChat people. And this is more just for the people that are joining VRChat for the first time or learning the DJ scene here too. It's not a requirement. We're not all meant to hang out with each other once a year IRL, but it is starting to gain popularity where it's like, oh shoot, we can actually do this. We can actually go to a place and perform, or just go and hang out with people. And our community is so large to be able to do that. So how important is it to find a little bit of time outside of virtual reality to be able to hang out with all these people?
Well, I think, if someone has not done that before, I think it's like I would argue, I would say it's very important to do. Not that you have to. It is what it is. If you can't, due to funding or, other things going on in life. And, you still obviously got friends just, in VR. But, being able to go to ShelterCon, even seen early on, I don't remember which one it was. Was it the third one I went to back in 2023? That was really awesome to finally go out there and meet some people. I met people. I see Clyde on there. It's like, oh, it was cool meeting in chat. It was really cool to meet Clyde and meet all these other people that I've always known for a couple years. And it's like, sometimes it's kind of funny. You see their avatar and then you meet them in IRL space and you're like, oh, I totally get this. Or, oh, that's totally different than what I was expecting. It's like, it could break your immersion, whether it's good, bad, or different. But, it honestly takes like either between friendships or acquaintances to like another level, because it's like, you're doing something fun together in real space, and normally you're far apart, and it's just like, you're just having fun with a bunch of people. Everyone's vibing, everyone's playing music, and maybe even drinking and whatnot too. And it's honestly a blast. Like it's kind of hard to like if you haven't done it before, I would definitely say, I would recommend trying it at least once, and yeah, it just takes like those friendships and acquaintances to like a whole nother level.
I know it's going to seem kind of a hypothetical question, but going into 2026, what do you see? Do you see more? Obviously, portal events are becoming a more popular thing. IRL events are going to be starting to be a much larger thing. Our community is just continuously exploding. It's like a burning star, right? It's just a slow growth until it kind of pops. But where do you kind of see next year happening?
Yeah, definitely more IRL events, no doubt. I mean, I'm seeing people post about it. More people between more IRL events in terms of like running shows and having cross reality type stuff. And then also like more people producing and putting out music out there, whether it's a VR label like Vextra or Shelter or ShelterNet. And then, or it could be even other labels out there that, people are trying to get involved. Like I was like involved at one point, what is it called exactly? I totally forgot. Onyx Society, and it was like supposed to be a mid-tempo thing. Even like Social Kid was in there, and they were trying to do some mishmash of like kind of some virtual stuff, but then at some point like release a label, do events IRL. That group kind of unfortunately fell apart. But there was like very talented people. Like when I was like starting out mid-tempo, like shoot, I was playing their music, and I am to like talk to them and whatnot. It's like super cool. But I think you were kind of touching base on this a little bit, is like not everything's going to be successful. It's really hard. Like IRL space in general is hard, and to even do portal events beyond that and cross reality stuff like that is even harder. The easiest is just simply VRChat, simple as that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, if someone wants to do IRL shows, I hope there's more IRL shows. I hope there's more cross reality events. It's just, I want to see more of that. It doesn't matter if it's like anything that I'm involved with, or, what Shelter's involved with, or Vextra, or, just other group. I think Eulogy was just starting to post stuff that looks really cool. And I'm just seeing more of that, and I kind of want to see that happen more, because it breaks the barrier of, maybe what some people want to do, in terms of like their DJing, their artist name and whatnot, and just trying to full send it. I see Clyde and Kate chatting. Sorry, because I met them both in different places. It's just funny.
That's the thing about our show.
Thanks,
is like it's live. People can come in and say something snarky and then be a part of the show, I guess.
No, I love them both, but let's see. No, I really want to see more of it. I mean, I've been doing like I would say Shelter's honestly kind of been a big pioneer into that space, and they've done a very good job of like all the IRL shows, the portal stuff and whatnot. And then I even did portal work early on. I didn't really touch base on this, but so when I was staff on Seventh Dimension, there was an opportunity in Pennsylvania for a small festival called like Boss Wave. It was like a 2-day event. And basically the people running that show wanted to have some sort of portal VR reality stuff. So we went around and took a bunch of video and photos and stuff, and basically worked with a group to basically take that building 1-to-1, that venue 1-to-1, but then also give it like the PR pizzazz and stuff. And that's actually how I even got to know Loyoko at the time. Just so people know, this just recently got rebranded to Vextra, because it was like a good time to like have a new branding with our label and whatnot. But yeah, at the time it was like Seventh Dimension and Loyoko, and we worked together and, did that portal event, had a really successful portal. Shoot, you even had like random attendees doing like backflips and whatnot in the camera, and everyone, in the VR side, oh my God, that's so cool and everything. And, we had that set up where it's just two-way talk and wave and, see people each other on both sides. And that was really cool. And we had like multiple instances on that. And
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about Lyoko because, obviously they're doing a lot of different events in here. Obviously, I think a lot of people love the events that goes on in here. But are you looking to do more Portal events with them?
So, long story short, yes. Let's see. So, like, yeah, all the VR Portal stuff we've done, and then like that the Loyoko group or / Vextra, like they've also just done like just IRL shows as well. Had a couple events in San Francisco, one in Tokyo and Osaka, actually Tokyo a couple times, and like that's just been successful. And there are going to be times where, I mean, honestly, doing portals and stuff, doing like cross reality stuff, honestly takes a lot of work. It's hard. It's not easy. You kind of need a group, pay attention at all times, make sure things work. And there's going to be some scenarios like, let's just say the venue doesn't have internet. Well, you can't do a portal event because you don't have the internet to actually send anything out to people. And and back and forth and kind of deal. Or sometimes maybe they have the internet, but it's shared with Wi-Fi that it's public. And then people get on that Wi-Fi because they're uploading things to Snapchat and Instagram. And then that's all bandwidth is used up. And then you can't, you're getting blocky streams and stuff. And, that gets tough too. And, Four Seasons, they just did a portal event. I was mentioning Eulogy doing a portal event. I think those portals will continue to happen, and I hope they continue to happen. And I do hope to kind of push that on our side as well. I'll just say that it may not always be the focus just because of the type of venue that we can get, the lineup. I mean, it's not even just the venue kind of deal. It could also be like, say, I'll give you an example. Like Dirty Snatcha was like on our headliner for San Francisco event. And what if he had an agreement with them to say like, hey, my set cannot be streamed at all. So then we can't stream that, it's just based on the agreement between both parties. And, there's going to be some people that are like, yeah, sure. And, they'll agree to it. And then there's going to be some that are going to be like, really restrictive. They could be like, hey, I'm literally first time playing all these unreleased stuff and I don't really want that out there. So you basically have to work with the artist, the touring manager, all that stuff to see if some of that is even possible. And if you don't have enough staff for it, it may be tough to even, just have that portal event too. So it just really depends. And I can't imagine that 100% of the events are cross reality portal events, but I do hope that people do cool stuff with it. And sometimes they change it up, and, maybe they expand out further somehow. I mean, even Ferality had like some portal stuff and, if I remember right, I think Silent, maybe Jazzy's kind of somewhat involved with that. And like, they do a very good job with that. And, I want to see people take it to the next level, do further things with it. And, who knows how big that can get. And, the more people see that, the more I think people ask about it and, want to do stuff with it. But, it's also kind of like, how do we add value? How do we add to the experience of the event? There may be some things where the venue is just way too expensive and stuff. And then, it just really depends on like what you figure out for your budget, for your people, and how to make it all work. And sometimes it's not always feasible to do that.
I think
So
going up
just balance it.
into 2026 as well, because we are starting to see a bunch of new headsets coming out. Again, this holiday season is going to be really taxing and yet promising for our community, just because everybody's going to be feeding into the new computers and the new tech and the new consoles and wanting to come in here and perform. And wouldn't you know it, like I think 2026 alone is going to be really massive, not only just for Portal events, but also being able to showcase all of the cool latest technologies in virtual reality in general. It's going to take an entire year, to be honest. I mean, I think a lot of people that have, face tracking or eye tracking or all that other jazz. But not only that, but the people like me that I have an index, I've been having it for the past 5 years. It's still tried and true, but I kind of want something new, so we're all going to be, I think we're all shifting into the new technology of it all, including some of the companies that are wanting to do the Portal events. Before we get on out of here, and before we end the show, I do want to touch upon the Underground sixth anniversary party that you got kind of coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that one is a party ran by Kanran, the Japanese side, who just has all these events. Usually it's kind of like breakcore, hardcore, hardstyle, techno, bass, all these different kinds of music, and honestly just really good artists, really good DJs on those kinds of lineups. And I think Maddie will also throw some events with that group as well. I think it's like Matt and Friends. And I played for them a couple years ago for their 4th year anniversary. I'm playing for them again this year, this Saturday actually. And it starts at like 5:45 a.m. Eastern time. Whoa. And then like I play at like 7 a.m. Eastern as well. So like it's super early. Like
yeah, but that's a Saturday though, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. It makes it easier than like, say, I'll be honest with you, some sushi house events have gotten harder to go to just because I have work on Tuesdays, and now they put me in the office. And so, it's harder to kind of stay on for that, but, or Monday relief, because that kind of bleeds into work as well. So yeah, usually a lot of really good events there, but yeah, this weekend, a lot of good people. You talked to Medlish recently. He's on that lineup. So it's really cool to see him on that. And Kabu, and gosh, there's Other Moon and other people on there. It's 2 days. So Saturday's the first day, Sunday's the next day. And I'll be playing like hard groove, techno, maybe some other possibly bass stuff. But I mean, it's a lot to try to fit in 45 minutes. Not that I haven't done it. I've definitely done it. And I can fit several genres in a set if I really wanted to, but I don't think I'll go crazy like that. So
well, that's all really exciting too, especially for those people that are looking to do that. I might not be awake at 5 o'clock in the morning, but who knows? I mean, again, I have to wake up at 5 o'clock anyway to get to work, and maybe on Saturdays something, maybe you'll ping me and just be like, okay, well, I'm already up. I might as well get a cup of coffee. But it's
there's definitely some.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's definitely some people who do the roundabout thing, like, especially back in COVID days, you do all the EU parties, and then you do the North American parties, and then you jump over to a Japanese party, whether it's Ghost Club.
Yeah,
or some
but you can
thing.
only
some
do that
round
once a month. Like the Europeans, they drive me nuts because they'll come in here and they'll stay awake till like at least 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, listen, you do you, pal. I like to sleep. I also, but like, give me at least once. You have to like, we have to plan it, like, let me stay awake. I will stay awake. I'll go get my 24-hour McDonald's or mac and cheese and chicken nuggets or something, and I'll be prepared with that. But like, no doubt. Absolutely. It's VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with Mow the Lawn, and we have just a few minutes left of the program. And per usual, we're going to get to those rapid fire questions. A lot of people really enjoy when it comes to understanding you a little bit better. So again, we're gonna try to tease them to you. Try to keep them short, because as much as we would love to be here. Sorry. I know you got another thing coming up too. So out of everything that we've kind of talked about here on the show and everything that you got to experience within the past 5 to 6 years between doing stuff with clubs or even performing for literally everything on the planet, what's a good word of advice for some new people when they do kind of come in here and they're wanting to test the waters a little bit?
I mean, honestly, just again, start talking to people, and again, play music that you like. It's kind of hard to play music you don't like, and there's some genres that may be a little bit easier to kind of like learn on and like do transitions and stuff. But just having fun with it. Feel free to ask questions. Even feel free to hit me up on Discord if you have any questions. Like, I'm not super technical, but like, I mean, if there's anything that you're like, hey, I've had people do this, like, hey, here's this mix, and I want to, does this sound okay? And maybe I might give some suggestions. And granted, mixing is like, there's so many different styles, and there's not always a right answer on it, but maybe it might be something like, hey, you can maybe try this out or do this instead, and it might work out better. So yeah, just get out there, have fun, enjoy it, and if you're not enjoying it, change it up.
Yeah, no doubt. I know we got a question in chat being like, what's the best lawn care appliance brand? I know I have a favorite, but I don't mow the lawn, so.
I mean, if you're talking about, I don't know, like I'm not super, so I do my own lawn care in a sense, but I'm not saying I'm that great. I have a Toro lawnmower. I have Scott's fertilizer, so nothing crazy. I buy kind of more of a regional seed if I need to like replant seeds or level my yard. I have actually leveled my yard. So yes, I have actually been doing some lawn care work.
Dude, I kid you not, like, we're going to have to find a world in here that has some really nice grass, and we're going to have to do our own little commercial with you. Like, there's got to be a way that we're going to do that. Don't think that we're not going to do that, but another great question. Dream B2B.
Dream to B2B? Oh, shit. Are you talking about VR specifically or just about anyone?
We'll do a little bit of both. How about like one VR and then one IRL?
I would love to do a back-to-back. Oh shit! I'll just say. Well, I'll say the clamps. That'd be very cool to do back-to-back with artist-wise, and then VR-wise. Maybe Clyde. I see Clyde's name. We got to do a back-to-back. Mow the machine. Clyde the lawn. Let's go.
Clyde the lawn sounds epic. I would definitely pay $5 to see that, but
yeah, he's really good, really talented. So yeah, it'd be cool to do something with him too.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as like listening on Spotify, why don't you give us one artist that you constantly listen to and one that we can kind of get to know?
I would say Ring Nord is probably my latest favorite.
I'm sorry, what?
Ring Nord. Noord.
Okay.
Yeah. They are basically SleepNet and Former, and they are amazing producers. And the fact that they're doing stuff together and releasing music together, I actually played it, one of them in Four Seasons. The ring finger, middle finger, yeah. So it was like it's like a lot of their music's just really super cool and like left field.
And that was one of the artists that you normally listen to a lot?
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. Like, I listen to various. I have random favorites. I like Alignment and Limbo Slice, and Akios is really talented artist. Like, and she's been in VR as well. Caesar's really talented. I don't know. I honestly literally just jump around, and it just changes like over time.
That's fair. I mean, at least you get the opportunity to understand some new upcoming talent or something that's getting a little bit more popular too. So I get that.
Yeah.
Speaking about talent, who are your top 3 favorite VRChat DJs?
God, that's always changes too over time. There's so many talented people, and especially when you like organize events and stuff, it's just like it's honestly hard. I honestly have a ton of favorites, but if I had to choose some, Dragu would be one. Yoru-san would be another. Bobby would be another. Grost says they don't DJ, but I'm gonna argue that they do. Sorry, Grost. But you like they just played a shelter set or a set at shelter and just totally killed it. It was great.
Speaking about some of the best DJs in the world, actually, I got this one off of YouTube last week, but who is the best DJ in the world, in your opinion?
DJ in the world? I don't know.
Literally, like somebody searched for it on YouTube like that. That was the question.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue it's pretty interesting to see AMC DJ because they just throw so many different D&B tracks just all over the place, and they're just insane. Like, really good DJ. I would say he's one of the best.
Fair enough. Love that. See, we all have our favorites, and even their favorites have their favorites. Before we get you on out of here, where can we find you on social media?
I'm all over the place. Unfortunately, x.com. Twitter. I always say Twitter. I don't know why I said X. Blue Sky is honestly my active one. Instagram. Please add me on Instagram and Facebook. That helps me locally. But I tried TikTok and I've had weird issues. I think I joined too late and they think I'm a bot and I could not add people. So,
oh man,
screw TikTok. Sorry. I tried, but yeah, Blue Sky is probably the easiest. And of course, hit me up on Discord and stuff too. But I'll post stuff on SoundCloud, Mixcloud. It's been a while for Mixcloud. I think you were bringing that up, and they changed some stuff, and I just have not posted on there because of that. I tried doing on SoundCloud. I'll still do it once in a while, but if I'm going to do producing stuff, I'm probably not going to post that as much on there, and I'll probably throw stuff at Hear This. It's like hearth.is, if I remember right.
It's all very complicated too, especially with the whole SoundCloud and like copyright and who has it, who doesn't, posting stuff. I really wish that they would get their act together next year so we have a better opportunity. Even Mixcloud too is just kind of like everybody, only the DJs kind of know about it. And when the DJs want to showcase it, the normal people are just like, nah, it's just another thing to try, which I totally get.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, moethelawn, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us on VRCDJ Live.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I'm excited to see more of things what you got coming up. And I mean, I know you already made your announcement up on social media. I know we were talking a little bit about that at the beginning of the week, so I'm going to let that simmer. We're not going to bring that up right now, but obviously go check out Mo's big announcement up on X, and I believe you also posted it on Blue Sky as well, and send some congratulations off to him. But that's going to do it for this month of VRC DJ Live. Of course, next week we have Thanksgiving, and between me and the staff, we have made the executive decision to say, you know what, take some time, go enjoy your families. We don't need to see you here Thursday night to do any of that sort of biz. So, but that also means that we also have to update you on December's schedule for VRC DJ Live, which actually is going to be coming out in the form of a video on X and Blue Sky. So please go follow us on X and Blue Sky at VRC DJ Live for that video next week on who we were going to be having on the program for December. Speaking of December, we got something very exciting going on. And as you can already tell, my voice is getting a little crackly. But if you haven't seen it already, the return of VRC DJ Radio. We're bringing it back for the holiday season at the end of December. And for those people that DJ and for those people that, are beginning to DJ, that's for everybody. It's not just for people that are wanting to DJ all the time or very little or so much. We're inviting everybody to be a part of it. If you DJ, all you need to do, make a 45-minute mix, fill out the form, send it on over with some socials and some logos, and we'll get you on. It's going to be a 24-hour program. We're going to be running during Christmas Day and on New Year's Day with more information coming on the way. So if you want more information about that, of course, that's up on X and Blue Sky. We also posted it on Instagram, so you can find all the information there. We don't have it up on the Linktree yet, but we're going to get it up on the Linktree. I feel like that's kind of an important part. So we're talking about Linktree. So make sure you tell everybody, of course. We have tons of slots available. Please submit it. Late submissions may be considered, but obviously I'm the one that has to put it together. So we want to make sure that we have Rob have a good, happy holiday as well, considering all of that. Of course, you can follow everything that we got up on a Linktree at VRCDJLIVE, including the submissions for any of you that want to be a guest on the program, whether you run a club or you DJ or you're part of a community. You can join us here on the program as we try to broadcast every Thursday, except for next week. It's Turkey Day. We're ready for some turkey, as Mo is already getting excited. Yeah, gobble, gobble. So speaking of which, for Mo the Lawn and the staff of VRC DJ Live, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you guys for coming by, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.